Good afternoon. I'm Michael Paris, the President and CEO for the Council for Quality Growth. It's my pleasure to welcome you, along with our co-host, the DeKalb Chamber of Commerce, to the 2019 State of DeKalb. We're thrilled to be here at the newly renovated Crowne Plaza Hotel. It's really an exciting time in this hotel at the Crowne Plaza. I hope you take advantage of taking a look at the great changes they've made, and it's a real pleasure to have worked with these folks, and their commitment to this community is unheralded. Please take an opportunity to go to the lobby after the event and take a look at what they've done there. It is also my great pleasure to thank CEO Michael Thurmond and welcome him and Zola Thurmond to be here today, and thank them for allowing us to host this event. I would now like to ask Jeff Rader, DeKalb County Board of Commissioners District 2 and presiding officer, to join me on stage for the welcome. Please welcome Jeff Rader.
Thank you, Michael, and thanks for everybody also being here to show your support for DeKalb County. Welcome again, and thank you for all attending. I have the honor of recognizing our elected and appointed officials here today. Obviously, we have very many folks here, but I'd like to start first by recognizing my colleagues on the DeKalb County Board of Commissioners. I have seen Commissioner Larry Johnson here. If y'all would please stand and we can recognize you. Commissioner Larry Johnson, Commissioner Kathy Gannon, Commissioner Lorraine Cochran-Johnson. Would you all please join me in thanking them for being here today and for their service to DeKalb. I'd also like to recognize that we have a delegation here from the DeKalb County Board of Education. Thank you for your commitment to our students. And if you would today also stand up and be recognized, District 4 School Board Member Allison Gevertz, District 5, Vicki Turner, District 6, Dijon DaCosta, District 7, Dr. Joyce Morley, and Dr. Stephen Green, our superintendent, is here with a couple of shadow students that are learning the ropes in public affairs. So thank you all also for taking the time and learning this. We also have members of our legislative delegation here today. If y'all would please stand and be recognized. You've just gotten done with a Yeoman's General Assembly, and thank you so much for the work that you've done for DeKalb. We have members of our constitutional officers contingent here, those that you elect for specialized purposes. If y'all could stand among the constitutional officers. And we have a large contingent of local government leaders led by our host today, Mary Denny Shortle of Dunwoody, but would our local elected officials also in the municipalities of DeKalb please raise your hand and be recognized. Thank you so much. I would also like to finally recognize all DeKalb County employees and staff today. So if you would, you have made today what it is amongst, along with the council and other sponsors. So please stand as employees of DeKalb County and let us recognize your daily efforts to make DeKalb a better place. So thanks very much, and I really appreciate you showing your love for these folks. Thanks.
Commissioner, thank you very much. Now today is the 6th of the Council of Quality Growth's 8 State of the County addresses this year. We value the opportunity to bring together the public sector with the business community in this way across this entire region. We will have our State of the County, Fulton State of the County next week on May 7th with Chairman Rob Pitts. May 7th, I hope you take a look at that. It's on the screen. Please sign up to be a part of that. And then Henry County in August. If you're unfamiliar with the council, we're a 34-year-old regional organization, and our strength lies in our relationships we develop with local policymakers across the metro region and the state, including DeKalb County and all of our cities. Our ability to collaborate with you ensures growth community is a part of the enduring economic prosperity that we all have. On the table, you will find a membership guide that gives more detail on why you should be a member of the Council for Quality Growth. Take a look at that. This is what it looks like right here. For my membership people will kill me if I don't hold that up. And I encourage you to get involved with our organization. Please see Rebecca Babovic before you leave. I would now like to welcome forward our co-host and president and CEO of the DeKalb Chamber of Commerce, Katerina Taylor. Katerina?
Michael and I do this every year. I have to push the microphone down to my height. Thank you, Michael. So I'm Katerina Taylor, President and CEO of the DeKalb Chamber of Commerce. This year, the Chamber celebrated 81 years of legacy and leadership. We celebrated by rebranding with a brand new logo design, more reflective of our chamber and its membership. We also curated an 80-year traveling history exhibit of the leadership members have provided to this chamber since 1938. Now, in 2019, we are redefining our position as the business nucleus in our community and finding ways to consolidate and collaborate with strategic partners right here in DeKalb County and in the Metro Atlanta region, like new partnerships in the city of Tucker with the Tucker Business Association, and strengthening partnerships with our local chambers like the Dunwoody Perimeter Chamber. We are finding necessary and unique ways to provide access and opportunities to all of DeKalb County's businesses. We invite you into our membership and thank you to the business community. Now, this time, we'd like to thank our sponsors because without you all, it would not be possible to have this event here today, and of course, without the CEO. So, if you would all give a round of applause to each sponsor each sponsor category. So to our presenting sponsors, the Fulton DeKalb Hospital Authority and Hntb. Our gold sponsors are Jacobs, Perimeter CID, and Wells Fargo. Our resource sponsor are the Metropolitan North Georgia Water Planning District and the Atlanta Regional Commission. Our silver sponsors include American Medical Response, the Collaborative Firm, Decide DeKalb, the Integral Group, MARTA, Moreland Altabelli, Public Supermarkets, and Tetra Tech. Our bronze sponsors include Accenture, AECOM, Atkins, Atlanta Realtors Association, Atlanta Commercial Board of Realtors, Benchmark Management, CERM, City of Doraville, City of Dunwoody, Denton's, EGM Services, Gas South, Georgia Power, Hicks Evaluation Group, HEG, Kaiser Permanente, Oasis Consulting Services, Paramount Consulting Services, Pepsi Beverage Company, Tucker Summit CID, United Consulting, and Verizon Wireless. I know it's a long list. And finally, our supporting sponsors are AT&T, Brown & Caldwell, H.J. Russell, RT2 Inc., and R2T Inc., and Thompson Hines. Thank you. Now, at this time, I would ask that you all stand as we present the DeKalb County Public Safety Honor, as we present the colors, and Ronnie Medina sings the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. No, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you. Please be seated. That was wonderful. Let's give this young lady another round of applause. So next on our program, we will hear from Katherine Zitch. Katherine is the director of the Metropolitan North Georgia Water Planning District and has an important message about water conservation in DeKalb County. Please welcome Katherine Zitch.
I get to lower the microphone too. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Katherine Zitch. I'm with the Metro Water District, and today I get to talk to you for just a couple minutes about the state of water in the region. First and foremost, for those who don't follow along in your home every evening, we are in the middle of a Supreme Court case. Florida did sue Georgia over our water use, including the water use right here in DeKalb County. That is currently with a special master in New Mexico. We expected something from him a month ago. I keep telling people, I think it's because he's reading all 7 million pages of testimony. Jobs, I am thankful I do not have. It's hard to talk about water when it's raining, because it's raining. In fact, 2018 was the second wettest year on record, second only to 1948. And so I know I am always the happiest person in Atlanta when it's raining, except you soccer parents that on Saturday morning at 8 a.m. are thinking, please rain, I don't want to be on the fields today, but we'll keep that between us. But we are always thinking about water because the next drought is right around the corner. In fact, in 1948, that next drought was from 1950 to 1957, an 8-year drought. And that's why we are always doing the next things in water. We are changing out our toilets because it's glamorous work we do, and we are fixing our leaks. 13% of water use in the Metro Water District is due to leaking fixtures in the home. So go home today and fix those leaking toilets. Thanks to great partners like DeKalb County, the water use in DeKalb is actually the same today as it was in 2000. That's a clap line, ladies and gentlemen. So returning to the Supreme Court, we're confident that because of the excellent work of residences and businesses and our water utility partners, we will prevail. We have to get through that, and I am holding my breath every day until then. Thanks to DeKalb County Watershed Management for being a great partner. Thanks to great partners like the Council for Quality Growth and CEO Michael Thurmond, we will prevail, but go home and fix those leaks. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Brenda Reed, Media and Community Relations Manager for Public Supermarkets and Chair of the Board for the DeKalb Chamber of Commerce. It is my pleasure to introduce Bernie Tokar, Trustee Fulton DeKalb Hospital Authority Board.
Well, thank you. Bernie Tokar is here, Fulton DeKalb Hospital Authority and Grady Health System. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I'm pleased to support today's event and receive this opportunity to express our appreciation for the long-standing and impactful partnership we have with DeKalb County that dates back to the 1940s and is alive and well today. As we address the state of DeKalb today, I would like to thank CEO Thurmond and the Board of Commissioners for their support of the largest capital expansion on the Grady campus since the late 90s with our Center for Advanced Surgical Specialties project and the HIV Center on Ponce de Leon. It's a public-private partnership, $200 million. $100 million of which comes from Fulton and DeKalb. We appreciate that. We just wrapped up the development agreement and we'll be breaking ground here in the next couple of months. But also I want to thank DeKalb County for their continued investment in indigent care, serving the least of these in our two counties. Grady Health System is serving more indigent patients with less county funds and getting better outcomes than we did 10, 15, 20 years ago. And we look forward to partnering on new projects and new health centers in DeKalb County going forward. But the final thing, I want to give a plug. Next Saturday, May 4th, we're having our second annual Velo City biking event. Starts at Mercedes-Benz Stadium downtown. You can get more information at www.velocityAtlanta.com. We'd love to see you out there. So thank you very much. This is going to be a great event.
Bernie, thank you for your support. Thank you to the authority for your support, and we appreciate all you do for this community. So now it is my pleasure to introduce Chaplain Olivia Maxwell from the DeKalb Police Department, the chaplain for our invocation.
I feel like I need to pull this down also. Blessings to you. Everybody say hello. Say your neighbor hi. No, okay, it's not church. All right. Blessings to you. I bring you greetings, and I am thankful to our CEO, to our elected officials, as well as to our distinguished guests. It is an honor to greet you today, to provide the invocation, but I greet you with an unwavering belief that quality and service will produce exceptional and sustainable community. I believe, and I have truly, my husband and I, for those of you who don't know me, my husband actually has been with the county of DeKalb for over 23 years in watershed. So in our house, water definitely matters. But with this precarious and unpredictability for our times that we live in, it is really, truly not just a need, but a requirement to have revolutionary and innovative leadership. It's something that there's a rich heritage in DeKalb, and not only rich with its history, but rich with its diversity. And we gather together today to celebrate those accomplishments, but not only that, to marvel in the miracles of the present, and certainly to charge boldly towards a future that is upward bound. Everybody say amen and clap your hands. All right, I just want to make sure you're all awake. All right. It's a truly blessed county. Truly blessed. And this future that is based on quality growth, dedicated leadership, transparent transactions, and sustainable strategies, a commitment to community is truly what we are. We are called to serve. As we transcend the boundaries and hurdle any obstacles, let us collectively take a posture of centering ourselves for the progressive movement upwards and ahead. Let us now take a posture of prayer. God of spirit and God of light, God who is universal and guides each of us through the journey each day. Bless this gathering of citizens and of servants. Continue to grant us the boldness to serve with direction, to lead with humility, to strategize generationally, to give ourselves intentionally, and to rise exponentially. Allow us, God, to be able to gather together as one, to also reflect on our innate capacity to shine light where there is darkness, to exemplify justice in the midst of the unjust, to model miracles for the hopeless, and to ensure a future with a firm foundation. Open our ears to hear, our hearts to commit, and our feet to move towards creating and crafting a better DeKalb for tomorrow's citizens and servants. That is our prayer. As we fellowship with the fine food that has been prepared for us, we pray blessings upon it and allow it to be for the nourishment of our body, that as we consume it, we can continue to do the work you have called us to do. We pray blessings upon the less fortunate that don't have it at this hour. And we pray for the fellowship that today shall be sweet. And together we collectively say, Amen.
Since our founding in 1938, the DeKalb Chamber of Commerce, our members, investors, and community partners have been committed to creating a pro-business environment for DeKalb County and the Metro Atlanta region. So on behalf of our board of directors and staff and affiliates, we thank you for your trust in the work that we do. We look forward to building upon our success and finding more ways to serve this community for many, many years to come. This year, we have taken a closer look at how we deliver programs and benefits with more thought and intention on experiences and results. On May 24th, we will celebrate business by awarding our coveted Apex Awards to top businesses in DeKalb County. There is still time to be nominated, so please make sure you go to our website and nominate your business or peer business. We also have programming scheduled around transportation, technology innovation, healthcare, and the intersection of commerce and our judiciary system. I'd like to take a few minutes just to say thank you to Senator Brandon Beach, who will be helping to lead our transportation discussion, and for chairing he's the chair of our Senate Transportation Committee. So, Senator Brandon Beach, thank you so much. And finally, this year, we will be highlighting 50 under 50 most influential leaders in DeKalb County, and the Chamber is really excited to host this type of programming. So we look forward to receiving your nominations for that as well. Well, we look forward to your nominations, your engagement, and a grand opportunity to celebrate with you. I would now like to introduce one of our presenting sponsors. Please welcome from Hntb, Associate Vice President and Director of Traffic and IT, Mr. Benjamin Robinson.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ben Robinson, Associate Vice President, Director of Traffic, ITS for Hntb. For more than a century, Hntb has provided infrastructure solutions across the nation, around the globe, with more than 50 years right here in the metro area. I'm excited to join this year's State of DeKalb as we hear from Chief Executive Officer Michael Thurmond about his county's tremendous future and even brighter road ahead. As DeKalb County and this entire region continues to thrive and experience extraordinary growth, infrastructure will play an important role in supporting a county that is attractive for residents, visitors, and business alike. As many of you know, DeKalb is already paving the way as various SPLOST and other county-wide projects continue to move forward. And while infrastructure means different things to different people, from safe road to reliable transit, I want to challenge you to think of infrastructure in its simplest form, as an investment to DeKalb's future, and a vital component in meeting and exceeding the needs that come with growing communities. I'd like to thank CEO Thurmond and the Board of Commissioners for their visionary leadership in keeping DeKalb County the crown jewel of the metro region and paving the way for our future generation. I must say I'm truly excited about what's ahead for this great county. Special thanks to Michael Paris and the Council of Quality Growth in providing this dynamic platform where business leaders, elected officials, and members of the community and more can hear from our local leaders as we work together for an even brighter future as our region continues to experience exponential growth, development, and expansion. And on the behalf of Hntb entire family, I'd like to welcome you all to the 2019 State of DeKalb. Thank you very much.
Ben, thank you for your support. Thank you for everything that you do. Now, please take a look at the screen for the State of DeKalb video.
With each passing day, this community of bustling businesses, diverse neighborhoods, and prestigious mainstays continues to rise toward a progressive future.
We take the responsibility seriously. We will not let DeKalb County down.
Where children enjoy parks and green space slated for enhancements.
We go to pools, we go to this huge water park, and it's really fun.
Ongoing assessments and critical upgrades, repairs, and replacements address the needs of the county's underground infrastructure.
We have been so impressed with the transparency, responsiveness, and generosity of the county. They rose to the occasion.
And signs of life are cleared, making a way for the progress of the future.
Once they move this debris, you're gonna see me jump. I'm gonna jump.
This is DeKalb County, where the quality of life is only set to improve through a proven track record of success and the setting of a national model of best practices.
Our Library of the Year is the DeKalb County Public Library System.
The technology itself isn't going to solve anything. It's the business practices and it's the teamwork involved to make that happen.
Talking about the economic and workforce development in DeKalb County is just one of many examples of how DeKalb County is rising.
In DeKalb, county leadership leverages collaboration and partnerships for progress.
Advance DeKalb is the first time we're bringing the private sector together with our public sector partners.
Developing relationships to get that done is so important.
There's more things coming in here. We're going to see buildings torn down and replaced with newer buildings with more people.
Home to booming development, sparking jobs, business growth, and investments.
We're trying to make DeKalb County the center of the entertainment industry in the state of Georgia.
Strategic planning and preparation for growth and mobility 30 years into the future.
Traffic calming or bike lanes or more walking trails, that kind of stuff that can help increase use of transport that's not solely cars is awesome.
Creating transportation options on the ground.
I really like how they're trying to develop transit into the future. They have some plans about maybe moving forward in 5 to 20 years.
And in the air, such as at PDK, Georgia's second busiest airport, located right here in DeKalb County.
Protecting our investment in transportation and positioning our county for growth through infrastructure stability is key to moving forward.
DeKalb is rising toward the future with an expected $1 billion impact from the county's first ever SPLOST.
But every time that we see a new piece of fire or police apparatus, every time we see a new mile of freshly paved road, and any of these other improvements that we're committed to, people know that that is your sales tax pennies at work.
The men and women of the Public Safety Agency are really excited about SPLOST and the opportunity to improve technology and equipment that they actually use to make citizens safe.
It's going to be exciting for not only the department, but it's going to ultimately save lives.
From creating life-saving solutions to supporting those who risk their lives for our protection.
Our goal is to have the best trained, the best equipped, and the best paid men and women in uniform anywhere in the state of Georgia.
That training and support extends toward our next generation of leaders as well.
I love this program. I think everybody that's able to do it should, and I'm very thankful for the staff that makes this possible.
There is no question DeKalb County's visionary and transformational leadership has invested in the progress of this county, which is why the state of DeKalb County is one in which this county, our our county is on the rise.
We're making tremendous progress all through our government on various fronts. We are literally going in the ground and rising up.
CEO Thurmond, I want to ask, what can't you do? But I think that question has to be reserved for Mrs. Thurmond. What can't he do? Because I know that you were the force behind him, right? Well, that video was awesome, and thank you so much. And additionally, thank you to DCTV. They are one of the best assets I think we have here in DeKalb County. So the team at DCTV, thank you all so much. Now we'll invite one of Atlanta's most influential women in business, the Perimeter CID's Executive Director and 2019 Chair of the Council for Quality Growth, Ann Hanlon, to formally introduce CEO Thurmond.
Good afternoon and welcome to DeKalb County. My name is Ann Hanlon and I'm absolutely thrilled to be here with you today. I'm the Executive Director of the Perimeter CIDs. We are one of 5 CIDs that is serving DeKalb County and working with the county and all of our local cities to help build better public infrastructure for the community. In addition to that, I'm also very fortunate to serve as the chairman of the board of directors for the Council for Quality Growth this year. I've been happy to work with Michael and his team to plan state of the counties all over the region. And I can honestly say that this is the one that I'm personally most excited for because I'm a resident of DeKalb County. So I live here and I'm absolutely humbled and honored to introduce CEO Thurmond today. CEO Thurmond is a gentleman, always a gentleman, and has dedicated his life to public service. I just want to hit a few of the highlights from his fantastic career in the public limelight. In his lifetime, Michael Thurmond has served in many roles. He was a sharecropper's son from Clark County. He's an attorney and the author of 2 award-winning books on history. CEO Thurmond was the first African-American elected to the Georgia General Assembly from Clark County since the Reconstruction. He was a gubernatorial appointee to lead the State Division of Family and Children Services. He was elected Georgia's Labor Commissioner for 3 terms. This is one I'm personally most excited about because I have 2 children in the DeKalb County public school system. And CEO Thurmond also served as superintendent for our DeKalb County public schools and really restored a lot of credibility to that institution. Thank you for that. Most importantly, he is the husband of Zola Thurmond and the father of Micaiah. Since taking office in 2017, CEO Thurmond's primary focus has been on building a foundation that improves the lives of all DeKalb County residents by eliminating deficient spending, establishing a rainy day fund of over $10 million, leading the effort to pass DeKalb's first $1.2 billion SPLOST e-host referendum, thank you for that, fulfilling the federal and state sewer consent agreement, and improving the compensation for hundreds of public safety employees in the county. During his campaign, CEO Thurmond said, "We need to restore confidence in DeKalb County government." That has been his unwavering mission from day one, and I think we can all agree that that has happened. Please join me in welcoming our CEO, Michael Thurmond.
Good afternoon. First, I want to thank Ann Hanlon for the kind words of introduction. And more importantly, I want to thank her and the Perimeter CIDs for their generous support of our successful SPLOST referendum. They were the first to answer the call. They were the most generous, and because of their support and the support of all the people in this room, we passed the first SPLOS with 71% of the vote, and SPLOS is literally transforming DeKalb County, Georgia. So let's give her a hand. Thank you so much. On behalf of DeKalb's governing authority, I would like to thank Michael Parrish, the outstanding leader of the Council for Quality Growth. Also, Ms. Katerina Taylor, who's president, CEO of our DeKalb Chamber. I offer to both of you all, on behalf of the governing authority, our continuing support of your efforts to encourage quality growth and to ensure that prosperity is realized all across DeKalb County. My heartfelt appreciation is extended to the Board of Commissioners for your leadership and your support as we work to improve the effectiveness and efficiency of our government. Being CEO is absolutely no fun at all, absent at least 4 members of the County Commission supporting your efforts. So I want to personally thank Commissioner Lorraine Cochran-Johnson, Commissioner Larry Johnson, Commissioner Gannon, and Presiding Officer Rayler, as well as those commissioners who are absent, for your support, your encouragement, for investing and understanding that divisive, zero-sum politics is a losing proposition. The successes that you and we celebrate today would not have been possible unless or until we as a governing authority decided to move forward together. So thank you. DeKalb is rising. DeKalb has truly reestablished itself. And I know that it could not have been done without support, not just on the Board of Commissioners, but we had to have support and leadership in our legislative delegation. So the members who serve under the Gold Dome, I thank you for all that you do. SPLOS was made possible because the House and the Senate, Republicans and Democrats, came together under the Gold Dome and made it so. So let's give our legislative delegation a round of applause. Thank you. We're blessed to have our judges and constitutional officers. I saw DA Boston, there are others, the sheriff is here. Thank you for being partners in this ongoing process. To the members of the DeKalb Municipal Association, and I know that there are several mayors who are here, I would like for the mayors in DeKalb County who are present to please stand so we can recognize you. Please stand. The Mayor Tucker is here, Stonecrest, Brookhaven, of course, Doraville, and Mayor Shortle here in Dunwoody. When I spoke about the SPLOS, it would not have occurred, but for we were able to do something that I was told on multiple occasions would never happen, that literally hell would freeze over before it happened. And that is the county elected officials and the city elected officials would actually come together and agree on anything. Well, I wasn't there, so hell may have frozen over, but it happened, and because it happened, over the next 6 years, between what we are doing in the county and what the cities are doing, more than 400 miles of the worst streets and roads in DeKalb County will be resurfaced. And finally, but most importantly, on behalf of Zola and myself, I want to thank all of you all for giving me this unique privilege and mentioning it, and I was thinking about it at a quiet moment this morning, that only in a nation called America, a state called Georgia, could a young man be raised by an illiterate Georgia sharecropper in a house with no indoor plumbing at the end of a dead-end dirt road, be given the opportunity to rise and to lead the most amazing county in America? I say it only because I want you to understand that when we come together, when people invest in children who may not have not but dream a lot, great things can and do happen. So on behalf of Zola and myself, I thank you. So, thank you to the DeKalb County employees, my fellow employees, who get up every day and come to work and do difficult jobs for sometimes small salaries. I thank you for your service. I especially thank those employees who did not give up during the tough times, who never lost hope and never lost faith. When others grew weary, when others wrote DeKalb off, you kept working and you continued to believe. I appreciate you. I honor you, and I thank you for your service. And so it is, my friends, on this day and in this place and at this hour, let the word go forth. Let the word go forth that this sleeping giant that has existed in North Metropolitan Atlanta, let the word go forth that the sleeping giant has awakened. Let the word go forth that old challenges still remain. Work is yet to be done. But I have no doubt whatsoever that we will rise to the challenge. We will leverage the opportunities, and we will transform DeKalb County, Georgia, into an oasis of brotherhood, of collective hope, and shared dreams and opportunities. We have learned some difficult and painful lessons because of past mistakes, missteps, failure. We've learned some hard truths about ourselves. But we will, and we have learned from those mistakes. But I submit to you that as a CEO elected by the people of DeKalb County, and by the way, elected by the voters in unincorporated and incorporated DeKalb, that we will rise together, that we will overcome the challenges, we will achieve the objectives, and we will improve the quality of life for all of our citizens. One of my best leadership lessons, though, I share with you. Learn from the past, but don't dwell on it. Learn from the past, but don't dwell on it. One of the biggest challenges I face as CEO of DeKalb County is that there are some whose minds are still stuck in 2013, whose minds are still fixated on the failures and the disappointments. But I bring a new message today. The past is the past, but we are shaping a new future for DeKalb and the state of Georgia. James Weldon Johnson, the great poet, said, "We will move from the gloomy past and we place our eyes firmly fixed on the bright gleam of tomorrow." Let us learn, let us recalibrate, and let us move forward. I quickly move to my close. In DeKalb County government, we are focused now on serving the people who pay our salaries. DeKalb County government will not be about the CEO. The government will not be about the Board of Commissioners or the employees or the vendors or the consultants or the lobbyists. This government is by and will serve the people of this county. Number one, we have gotten our fiscal house in order. With the support of our Board of Commissioners, we have eliminated deficit spending. We transformed a $24.7 million structural deficit into a $112 million rainy day fund. DeKalb's ad valorem tax digest grew by 11%, but DeKalb homeowners benefited from a $110 million property tax cut. And this tax cut will continue for the next 5 years. Now, back in the 80s, if you cut $110 million worth of taxes, there used to be an applause line, but maybe not. Maybe not. So look what happened in DeKalb in 2018. We eliminated a $24 million deficit. We built a $112 million rainy day fund. Property values increased by 11%, and taxes were rolled back effectively by 8 mills. Public safety. On your program today is a beautiful photo of a brave young officer, Egbert Perry, who gave his life, sacrificed at the highest level in order to protect you and I, to keep you and I and our families safe and secure. We celebrate his life and we celebrate his legacy. And the most lasting legacy we can provide to Officer Flores and those other men and women who died in the line of duty and those who go every day is to ensure that DeKalb has the best trained, the best equipped, and the best paid public safety employees in the state of Georgia. That is my commitment to you. The most somber of all of my responsibilities, the one that I hold most dear, the most challenging, is that as CEO, I direct hundreds of men and women every day to put their lives literally on the line. My first responsibility is to get them home safe. We are going to continue to work and invest not just in our police, but 911 and fire and investigators at the DA's office and in juvenile court and on probation and parole, because it's a system. And if we are going to be safe, this system must be strong. But we can't arrest and incarcerate ourselves out of the crisis that we're in. The biggest, most painful reality I face every day is the endless number of young men and women, primarily black young men, being murdered in DeKalb County. So many in Metro Atlanta have died and been maimed. So many have died that the media no longer counts the dead. We're going to strengthen public safety, but we're also going to invest in jobs for our children in the summertime. The pimp and the drug dealer and the gangbanger shouldn't be the only one recruiting our boys and girls for jobs out in the community. They cannot be that. And you see, work is so important. And I'll say this and move on. I'm channeling my labor commissioner life because I read a book some 10 years ago entitled When Work Disappears. It was written by William Julius Wilson, a sociologist at Harvard University, and he studied crime and statistics over a long period of time, and he looked at African-American young men and Hispanic, Latino, and Asian and white young men, and he came to what I felt was a stark and almost shocking conclusion, that the crime rate for young black men with jobs is the same as it is for young white men with jobs. It's not genetic, not geographic, but there is a direct correlation between honest labor and law-abiding behavior. It is important to note that we are making major investments to further enhance our parks and recreation department. $40 million, because in DeKalb, it's recreation, but it's more than that. Because my mother always told us that an idle mind was the devil's workshop. Our parks provide a safe place for our children to go in some of the most dangerous times of the day. We are replacing 102,000 aging and potentially defective water meters. We entered a settlement with the manufacturers of more than $8 million. This process has begun. It will run for the next 3 years. And one of the things I've learned, it's interesting what you learn, I meet with my watershed department on an ongoing basis. We met every week for the first 18 months I was in office to address the issues with water bills. And now I have a tiger team with sewer, so I meet with them. Because see, I don't just listen to what the muckety-mucks at top have to tell me. Right? And I have a model where we create teams. And on the teams, depending on what the issue is, I want the people who know the most, who's the most experienced, and who's willing to work the hardest to sit on the team. And it doesn't matter where you are in the organizational chart, everybody on the team gets a vote and a voice. Now, I'm not lying to you because my employees are sitting here. And one of the things I learned about the water meter crisis is that about 3% of our customers have not been paying for water. Now, we hear about the ones who pay too much. So we announced, Egbert, that we're replacing 102,000 water meters, and we got 3 calls from 3 consumers who said, I want to keep my old meter, don't change it. Transportation. Economic developers in the state of Georgia who work for the state of Georgia, the commissioner told me himself that one of the most valued recruitment tools the state of Georgia has right now in recruiting Fortune 500 and Fortune 100 companies is PDK Airport. Senator, PDK. Mario, PDK. The second busiest airport in the state of Georgia. Second only to, it's another airport further south. I don't know the name. Second only to that airport. The 9th busiest general aviation airport in America. We've completed a major redevelopment plan. Atlantic just completed a $20 million facility for corporate travelers. DeKalb was a pioneer in mass transit. And I love my media friends. And, you know, they get all giddy when some of the other counties were thinking about mass transit. And I support any and bring it in, and I see Jeff Parker back there, he smiled, and I support that. But don't forget that 50 years ago, DeKalb County voted to support mass transit. There will be no MARTA without DeKalb County. And I see Chris Thomas, and I've talked to Chris, and one of the things I want us to remember that if it's difficult for Cobb and Gwinnett to pass a MARTA referendum in 2019, how difficult was it in 1970? What we did in DeKalb, what you all did in DeKalb, was you raised above partisan politics, you rose above race and class and fear, even hatred, and you envisioned the future. And because these men and women, those brave men and women, Republicans and Democrats, black folk and white folk, 50 years ago, had enough courage and vision to do the right thing, you look at the phenomenal growth that's taking place here in Dunwoody. It's no accident that State Farm sits there at a MARTA stop. It's no accident that Doraville and Avondale and Decatur. It's no accident that Egbert Perry came close to a MARTA station. It's no accident that Kensington is exploding. We got great leaders in those cities and in those counties, but we owe it to those who would not allow themselves to become prisoners of narrow, mean-spirited, partisan politics. I'm impressed with the work that Jeff Parker is doing, major new investments in mass transit in DeKalb. Give Jeff Parker a hand. Thank you so much. And finally this. One of my heroes in DeKalb County politics is a man I never met. I've only read about. And his name is Scott Candler, Sr. And if you ask DeKalb County residents about the former CEOs, they know about the great work that Ms. Levitan did as CEO, and she's seated to my right. They know about Manuel Maloof. They know about Burl Ellis and Lee May, and they know about Vernon Jones, but they rarely mention Scott Candler. You see, Scott Candler really is the father of modern DeKalb County. And that's something young public servants should understand, that oftentimes those of us who make the biggest contributions and the most lasting impact become lost on the pages of history. During his administration, this was the man who envisioned a countywide water work system. The water system that we use today was first envisioned by Scott Candler Sr. And by the way, when he shared his idea and he shared his vision, his critics called him a fool. And they derided it and criticized it and called the water system Candler's folly. He had the audacity to run a water line to Doraville, to an empty field. And it just so happened an executive from General Motors visited Doraville and built one of the largest manufacturing automobile plants in the Southeast. Vision. He also established our first countywide sewer system. But before he did that, Brother Tokars, he is the one who came up with the idea of a Fulton DeKalb Hospital Authority, a countywide library system, and a countywide sanitation system. He understood the power of a government that provides high-quality service. He was also a person who cared about the poor. His biographer states that he would have sit in his office and long lines of poor blacks and whites in DeKalb County would line up to see him. And his biographer states that he would break his back to get a job for a poor person who didn't have a job and couldn't support his family. That's the type of man that Scott Kellner was. He created this sewer system. And by the way, folks, our water and sewer system are our most valuable assets. You can't build State Farm. You can't do Assembly. You can't do Black Hawk without fresh water, without a way to bring in the fresh water and to migrate the sanitation out. You can't do it. But the biggest mistake we made is that we neglected our most valuable asset and resource. Human civilization is built on that concept. And see, one thing you have to know, and I see Keith Mason over there, he shared this with me. You can be in a city, you can be in the unincorporated area, you can live in a $5 million mansion, you can live in the most decrepit apartment in DeKalb County, but guess what? When you drink a glass of water, it all comes from the same source. We got one water system. We are connected by that. One poet once said, never ask for whom the bell tolls, because it tolls for thee. We're all connected to the main. We failed our water and sewer systems. Complete, abject failure. I have told my team, contractors, employees, that this foolishness will not continue. There is absolutely no rational reason why we are still having sanitary sewer flows from the same manholes for 10 straight years. We have over 70,000 manholes in DeKalb County, and this is important because when you see it on TV, you think every manhole in DeKalb is discharged. That's not true. Let me tell you what really is going on. There are over 70,000 manholes arrayed throughout DeKalb. And only 13 have had repeat sanitary sewer overflows. $70,000, but what you're seeing on TV is really the same 13. They were overflowing in 2011, and by the way, we had problems before we signed the consent decree. People don't want to really understand that. The reason you had to sign a consent decree, because decades before that, you had a sewer system that was not being properly maintained. So what I've said to my folks is this: the foolishness stops here. If we can't fix the 13, then I'm going to get me somebody who can fix those 13 sanitary sewer overflows. I just tell you that. That's employees, that's contractors, that's lawyers, that's consultants. There is no logical reason for that. The good news is we know what the problems are, we got a plan in place, and we're moving in a new direction. I'll leave you with this. I want to share with you what I call my bold new vision for DeKalb County. And it's a vision of a DeKalb that's not separated by North DeKalb and South DeKalb. Enough of that. As I look out on this audience, I see that vision becoming a reality. I have a vision for DeKalb where it's not separated by white folk and black folk, Hispanic and Latino folk. I have a vision of DeKalb not separated by urban and suburban, not separated by those who have and those who have less. I have a vision of DeKalb that can and should provide the resources and the support that we all need to prosper and to grow. I have a vision of DeKalb that in the not too distant future, Dr. Green, when we will recognize that when it comes to educating our children, we cannot afford to separate ourselves, not even between Republicans and Democrats. The little kindergartners, the little first graders folk can't vote. I am convinced beyond all reasonable doubt that if we continue what we're doing today, which is to sit and break bread together, if we'll continue to work together across party lines and corporate lines, if we'll continue to, if need be, cry together and sing together, we can build, we will build. One DeKalb, one Georgia, one America. One DeKalb, one Georgia, one America, that is as we have pledged that it will be. One DeKalb, one Georgia, one America, that is under God, that is indivisible, and that will offer liberty and justice and economic opportunity for all. That's my vision. That's my hope. That's my prayer. Last year, we created 2 awards. It's called the Bridge Builders Award. And this award is for people in our community who are working to build bridges across economic, political, social, you name it, lines of authority. And 2 people today, and this is one of the few decisions I get to make personally. And the 2 men we will honor today, and I want them to come forward. One is Egbert Perry, who is the visionary behind the Assembly Project. Egbert is an amazing developer, visionary thinker, but more importantly, he's a good man whose heart is in the right place. So Egbert, please come on up, and thank you so much.
Michael, you really should have just ended it when you went down there, because this is a horrible place to be following those remarks. They are as good a set of remarks and inspiring as I've ever heard. So thank you for that. I had a few notes. I was just going to say thank you, and Michael messed up all the stuff, and I've been scribbling some things I needed to say, so just bear with me for a couple minutes, please. This is not supposed to be speeching. The fact is, you really do have to thank Michael for his leadership. There's a saying that in the midst of a storm and controversy and conflict, the only ship that doesn't go looking for a dry dock is leadership. And Michael stepped into the fray and has brought tremendous leadership to the CEO's office. And so I applaud everything you've done, Michael, in that regard. Yes, please. Also have a tremendous amount of respect for the 3 organizations, the Council for Quality Growth, certainly DeKalb County, and for, let's say, when I looked up there and saw that they picked me to give this award to, I figured that must have been a Donnybrook to come up with my name. Mayor Shortall is a much easier decision, so thank you for this honor. And I want to paint a picture for you of what's happened in the last 4 years at Assembly. We remediated 90 acres of buildings. We demolished 3.6 million square feet of structures. We recycled 106,000 tons of material across mills in Georgia and Alabama. And we arranged the planning, entitlement, and then the infrastructure funding to start the project on the way, and have since done 4 things that have created about 1,500 permanent jobs back on the site. So that's about 30% of the jobs that were there when General Motors was operating full-fledged. And I will tell you, we call it back at the office brain damage work, and we do a lot of brain damage work. And so you either build bridges or die. Because when you do a project like assembly, it requires a tremendous amount of collaboration and cooperation among many different organizations. So we're standing here and I'm receiving this award as a bridge builder, but the reality is there are a whole host of organizations that played a role in getting this project moved to where it is, and I just want to recognize a few of them. Without a doubt, DeKalb County for its leadership, the County Commission, the administration under the CEO, the school board, Decide DeKalb, the city of Doraville under Mayor Pittman has been outstanding, and the council. Yes, please. It plays an outsized role for a city that size. And the Doraville Development Authority. And I would be shocked if I didn't recognize the state of Georgia. The state of Georgia has just been superb. You mentioned Chris Tomlinson a little earlier. I don't see Chris, but he's out there somewhere. But for the state recognizing the importance of that site, which they dubbed as the second most important economic development site or location or project in the state of Georgia, behind only the Savannah port, the deepening of the port, was a statement, and they've supported us throughout. And one last thing, the employees of Integral, people who carry around the title of CEO or chairman, they don't really do any work. I'm sorry, Michael. So it's the employees of Integral, all 300 of them, that are working hard to try and pull assembly off, and we're thrilled that you have trusted us with that vision, and thank you very much for this very special recognition. Thank you.
And now I will introduce really a person I have learned to admire, who is an amazing leader, who served our nation in the United States Marine as a general, who fought to protect our rights as Americans, who I learned so much about, and I guess we might be the art couple in DeKalb County. He is a man who has built a bridge of communication and cooperation between the city of Dunwoody and DeKalb County government. He has talked and committed himself to doing the right thing. He's about people and not about politics. We talk, he's honest. He'll tell you exactly what's on his mind. But when you walk away, you know you got his word. So Mayor Dennis Shorter, would you please step forward and accept personally from me the Bridge Builder Award for being a friend and being a great leader of men and women in Dunwoody and DeKalb and the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. CEO, and welcome to everyone to Dunwoody. As I always say, those of you that don't have a house here, we have realty people right in the back. So we'll be selling you a house right after this. You won't be allowed out until you do that. But thank you everyone for being here today. I'm honored to receive this. I'm not too good at receiving honors, but I don't feel really there's a lot of people here that deserve this more than me. So it's really an honor. I just want to talk a couple things here real quick. First of all, I want to thank all of our Dunwoody council members that are here today, and our staff. Would you stand up, please? They're the folks that have to listen to me quite a bit, and then the staff are the ones that keep me out of the county jail. But I think a couple things I just want to say. First of all, this man right here behind me, I've lived here for almost 30 years now. I've heard all about DeKalb County. I've heard all about the problems we have in DeKalb County. And, for one time here now, I feel very confident. I trust this man. You know, and most of you know I'm not a very good politician because I say what's on my mind. But I think one of the things we have here is we've got somebody here that can lead us into tomorrow. And for those of you, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I always do things anyway. But those of you from Fulton County and Cobb County and Gwinnett County and wherever county you're on, if you tell me, well, you know, gosh, you live in DeKalb County, well, I'm sorry about that. All I got to tell you is you better keep your boots on, you better keep your backpack on, because we're going to be coming after you, and we're going to be number one. I don't believe in number two. You know, in the Marine Corps, we always said if number two is a loser. So number one is what we want to be. So that's what we're going to be, and that's what we're going to strive for. You know, a couple other things that I talk about is that, and I'm not afraid to speak about it at all, is that, you know, we're all in this together. There's no we and they. There's no north and south. There's no black and white. There's none of all that stuff, Republicans and Democrats. You know, we all go home, and as the CEO just pointed out, we drink out of the same fountain. Can you believe that? That's amazing. You know, you're one of those other people. I'm not drinking out of the same fountain as you. Yeah, you do. Sorry about that. That's the way life goes in the big city. But I think that's one of the things all of us have to understand here in DeKalb County. And Michael, you know, and all of you, and this nice lady over here, resident of Dunwoody, Georgia. You want to tell them how good it is here, Ann? I love it. But I think that's the one thing all of us have to understand as we go forth. We're DeKalb County. Be proud of it. Be proud of it. Don't sit here and just tell yourself, oh, we're DeKalb. We are proud of that. Pump your chest. Hit it. Walk out the door and say, yeah. So I think that's one of the things that we really can look forward to is working together. Working together, and don't worry about whether you get the credit or not. Getting the credit doesn't mean squat unless the job's done, it's done right. I made a couple other notes here, but I can't read my own writing. But I don't write too well either. Didn't finish first in spelling, that's for darn sure. And the staff will tell you he's a terrible computer guy. But I think the one thing is we, just in closing, is that I think we all need to just remember, keep everything in perspective. Everybody is important. There's no such thing as an unimportant folk. No such thing as an unimportant person. Keep everybody in better, and remember, every day when you get up to do something, don't just do it for yourself, but do it for the betterment of everybody else. In the Marine Corps, there's a great saying, self is second to the unit, always. We keep that in mind, we're going to go to the top. Semper Fi. Sorry. Did you get the good side of me? Okay. This guy's a newspaper guy from somewhere. I don't know his name's John.
He looks familiar. It's important.
To say that we are blessed to have leaders like CEO Thurmond and Mayor Shortle serving this county, I think is a massive understatement. This is a great time in history to be living and working and investing in the county. As we leave today, know that the state of the county is strong. Thank you very much for coming, and have a fantastic afternoon.